Thank you so much for the great introduction, Dr. Vash. And yeah, today I would like to talk about managing stress on the farm. This program usually, it's extension program that I deliver for farmers here in Pennsylvania and not only in Pennsylvania. So I presented this extension program several times in the national level, and now I have that great opportunity to present at international level. So thank you so much. So during the session, I will first discuss about very simple things, right? At the first glance, like understanding the stress symptoms, factor affecting the stress, and consequences of the stress. And one of the second and major part of my presentation going to be focusing on the specific strategies and tips how to build stress resilience. And agriculture is one of the dangerous occupation and plus a very stressful job. So I ask myself, why farmer is stressed really? Because farmers wear many hats, right? Farmers at the same time, could be or must be an agronomist, a plant pathologist. He could fix some issues related to their gardens, right? Or at the same time, he need to know how to do that bookkeeping in the business. He also need to be a good electrician. But with all of this professional side of his work, he is or she is a farmer, spouse, grandparent, or child, someone's child, right? Or and friend. So you see how many hats farmers have, and definitely that's where stress can come from. So let's just take simply like day, right? And sometimes it feels like not everything goes right. And let's say, just imagine yourself, you wake up in the morning, you cannot find the key, right? Or you get a call from dealership, let's say, and they tell you that your equipment not ready to pick up, and they have some major issues that require more payment, right? And you suddenly receive some, let's say, information that your partner cannot meet some deadline, and maybe you receive some not good email from your customer who probably were not happy with the service and put that information in the website. So think about, how do you feel? Okay. So um and like another good example, let's say you're the farmer, and you involved in the like agritourism operation, right? And think about
Right.
like safety issues, safety risk. So it could be related to people who visiting your farm. They could be involved in different like accident there. It could be some vandalized property or different farm hazards. So all of this bring you to the point that person experiencing basically stress, right? And question is, what is stress? And when I look at like literature, there are a lot of different definition of the stress because we don't have unified definition of the stress, right? And you see some of the definition of the stress in the in your screen. But one of the just simply saying, we experiencing person basically experiencing stress, and it became as a body's reaction to harmful situation, right? And many times things that we cannot control causes a farmers to feel the most stress. So based on the literature review, one of the potential stressors could be consequences of COVID-19, right? Now we have experiencing that, and we'll still continue experiencing that, right? Another big issue is weather condition. It could be issues with the farm equipment and plant or animal diseases. So it could be some governmental regulation as well, right? That might also affect the production and how they manage infrastructure of the food markets when we talk about this thing. So plus it could be issue related to financial situation, right? And like let's say, can you eligible to get a loan for your production or not? So there are a lot of issues that bring to farmers basically or increase farmer stress level. So I am actually really interested in research related to farmer stress. And once I did a couple years ago before COVID, when I studied quality of life farmers in Pennsylvania, I asked several questions that basically incorporated under quality of life, but something I want to know why sometimes people stress, and you see in your screen. So when you look at like general quality of life of the farmers, they reported that 75% is satisfied with their quality of life. But that was interesting thing. Once you start to look particular items in the scale, you see like let's say only 54% receive emotional support, right? Only 41% are satisfied with their social activities. Only 38% satisfied with their vacation time or day off during the if we look at the year, right? Um, Only 46% satisfied how they can manage both farm work and family life. So only 41% satisfied with their hours of sleep, especially when we talk about busy season, so and so on. But today I'm going to talk about all other parts, right? Like 60% or 50% other farmers who wasn't satisfied with all of this, what you see on your screen, and that's also bring them increase the level of stress. I also ask questions from the leadership perspective, how they can handle the stress, right? How they can balance their personal and professional life. And you see, again, only 46% say they can balance their personal and professional life, and they can and only 52% believe that they can handle stress effectively. So I would like to ask the audience, what does it mean for you to be stressed when person working on the farm or dealing with a farmer customer? And you can use the chat box to put this information, please. Like I mentioned before, based on the study, right, it could be weather condition, it could be not ability to manage farm work and personal life, especially in the busy season. Work hours could be one of the really heavy loads for farmers. You can put this information in the chat, and meanwhile I continue my presentation. So let's talk a little bit about the effects of stress. So when person experiencing stress, they have that change the way how they think. Okay, we call it like tunnel vision. And when person not have ability to evaluate alternative options, so person constantly focusing on the threat, become more suspicious, have issue to dealing with anger, and very often can misinterpret any interaction that's happening, and that's also bring that effect more higher level. Stress, as we know, could happen rapidly, right? Let's say you wake up in the morning and you see the frost in your garden. Of course, that's bring you to stress level increase immediately. And sometimes we see that experiencing that snowball effect of the stress, right? You have so many things accomplished for having that little time. So when you have a lot of things like that, daily based on several days a week, so we call it chronic stress, that also very negatively start to affect your health condition. And let's very quickly discuss about the symptoms related to stress. And sometimes, we even don't think about. People can have that issues or symptoms, but they don't know that it directly relates to stress. So first one, it's emotional stress symptoms. When a person feel like very overwhelmed and feel like he cannot control situation, cannot quiet their mind, like have that racing thoughts constantly, short temper, don't care about their how they feel from health perspective, and have a lower level of self-esteem. So this is all related to emotional stress symptoms. So a next category, so we have four type of that type of symptoms. That second one is physical stress symptoms. That's really interesting that I was surprised myself that people can get that cold in different type of infections just because they experience in higher stress. And when I learned about that, I was actually also, I had that eye opening as well. So that symptoms like dry mouth, difficulty to swallowing, low energy, you have issue to sleep, you have like sometimes people that have grinding their teeth, have that sweat hands or feet. This is all relates to the physical stress symptoms. We just need to pay attention, right? What's going on when you're experiencing that type of stress. So next one is a cognitive stress symptoms. This about like when person cannot, again, like I said earlier, you feel like you have that racing thoughts, cannot stop, thinking about, and you feel like you cannot organize your day, your work, your files, like simply saying you constantly worrying about something that affect your poor judgment, that affect your inability to focus, and that's bring you to the level that you don't believe in the good. You became like pessimistic, and think only negative way. You kind of constantly um, feel that nothing would happen to you anymore. So the last one is behavioral stress symptoms, which is not a good things, because when a person experiencing that chronic stress, it's over time bring person to the point that that sleeping habits, right, change, eating habits change. It's person constantly procrastinate, and losing that concentration. And one of the worst case scenario, it's drug and alcohol use. So as a consensus of the stress, we see really negative effect of the health. It could be mental health issues, it could be cardiovascular issues, reproduction issues, and a lot of other things. But when we talk about farm work, right, we see because of higher level of stress, I want to tell you that I'm a project director of Agribility for Pennsylvania, and we see that secondary injuries happen in the farms, like farm accident injuries, like a lot of like safety issues um, people experiencing because of that a higher stress level. So as a result, it's affect poor farm management and not it in this in poor decision making, okay, because it's came up like very spontaneous. You cannot to focus and concentrate, and definitely that affect that your like your imbalance unbalanced form or like a work and family life as well. So I would like that you take a minute and just answer that questions and try to measure, for example, how do you deal with stress? Okay, just simply, it's really very interesting thing. So the first one is, are you basically aware about that US stress, right? It's really nice to ask yourself. I always say from the leadership perspective, it's always important to start from yourself. And this point, when we're talking about leading or managing your stress, so it is important to understand how you basically, are you aware about that you are stressed at this point, right, at all? So if you can answer yes or no, it's just only two options. Second scale, subscale, it's accepting the stress. Okay, also answer yes or no. And coping with stressors, that helps direct your energy toward problem solving. Again, yes or no answer. And your actions, how do you act, and when you deal with stress, also answer yes or no. And it would be nice now if you calculate total yes and total no's. And if you have 7 yes or more, so I tell you that you're on the right track. So you have good capacity or ability to balance your stress in the life, on the farm work. However, it's still, you know, you need to take into consideration to see the difference, for example, what to do in doing it, okay? And those people who has it less than 7 yes, so I think you definitely need to improve your ability to recognize the stress and deal with stress that help you to promote more balanced life and work life. So at this point, I came to the my second part of my presentation, that where I would like to focus on the building a stress resilience. Okay, so this approach I would like to introduce. You see on the screen ABC model. Okay, so this is basically initially this approach about managing stress and just explain the stress model, was created by Dr. Albert Ellis. And later, this approach was adopted by Dr. Martin Seligman, who was a professor at University of Pennsylvania. And at the same time, he was a past president of the American Psychological Association. So he adopted that version, was published in his book in 1990, and that book was called Learned Optimism. So he basically introduced that ABC model. This technique basically tried to analyze that stress from the aspect of particular stress situations, right? The first one in the model, it's adversity. It's everything about what activates, right, that situation, some triggers and some particular event. So second one, it's B, it's your beliefs, your thoughts, your way of thinking, right? Your perceptions of life, maybe in general. And at the same time, what do you really believe and think about this particular situation? In C, it is consequences. So it is really important that emphasize here that your perceptions about life, right, like your mental models, how we call sometimes this, really can affect how you believe in what you think about particular situation, because that usually affected by your like experience, your family background, your socioeconomic status, your fears, your beliefs, even your dreams. Okay, so I think it is really important to take all of these things into consideration. And what I want to basically tell you right now, that to be more optimistic and change what you believe about yourself, change about what you really think about that particular situation, can really turn that in situation and lead it toward more positive consequences and change generally the positive outlook of life. So if you would like to learn more about this, I would encourage you to find that book. Like, I would like to, again, repeat myself. It's called Learn Optimism, and just dig more about this. That's really interesting approach. Right now, I would like to go back, and we will have several exercise. Okay, I don't want to focus only on theory in my workshop, that online workshop I call it. I would like that we practice today. Okay, and like, I always would like to start from something really simple things, and encourage you to importance of the how a person can monitor your stress level. How do we think about and perceive the situation really affect the your stress level? And if you remember, on the beginning of my presentation, I tell you just few examples why a person can be stressed, right? Take a little just random day and things happen. So right now, I brought the same examples and put it in the table to kind of observe yourself, okay? And to do it better, just in visual, we do that using that visual example. You see you see the table in 3 columns, right? In first column, it's time. A second column, it's your stressor, okay? That event, basically, and importance level of that event, of that stressor, from 1 till 10, on the scale from 1 till 10. And the last column is your stress level, okay, on the scale from 1 till 10. So let's say again, it is a 6 a.m. in the morning and you cannot find your key, okay? So just think about, you immediately, your stress level, you have set it at a 9 in the scale from 1 till 10, 4, okay, like an example, maybe even higher sometimes, depending what situation is. However, importance of that event itself on the level 2 from 1 till 10. Because if you look at the past and you think about how many times you had that situation in your life, like you lost the key, and especially when you rush. But if you take a second, few seconds, not even minute, and think about where you left your key, it could be in your car, you forget, just take it, or you can just drop it in the some, mudroom, I don't know. But you can recall and just think about that you already increase your stress level in the number 4, instead of think about that it could be just 2. So that could apply for any other events that could happen during the day. And this is, again, I'm kind of confirming you this ABC model, the way how we explain ourselves and that particular situation in our beliefs about ourselves, and how we can handle, right? That might definitely affect the result, your level, the level of your stress. So as a continuation of this conversation, I want to tell you, so beliefs about how you perceive that information, okay, about what you believe about the stress event, it's important. So confidence that you can handle and manage the stress is extremely important, and that was study published actually in 2014. So right now, I would like to that we think about and use this time very effectively, okay, during this webinar session. Think about one of the situation in your life that you feel like stressed, okay? That's nice you can, I mean, this could be just an example right now, just the practice, but you can use this in your future work or different type of stress related to your work or farm work. Um, and let's think about issues or stressful event that you're experiencing right now, okay? And think about things that look at that situation from the 3 aspects. So things that you can control, okay? I give you a second to think about what you can control in your situation. So think about you can control. So let's say something like you feel isolated on the farm, right? You can control that kind of things. You probably worry about who will get the farm when you will decide to retire, for something like that, things that you can control. But I'm just talking about specifically farm because it's farm related, right? Stress we talk about today, but you can, like an exercise, use your current, any type of personal stress that just kind of get idea how you can utilize a tool in your life to manage the stress. So second thing, think about that things that you cannot control. Okay, farm related, it could be weather condition, that you can lost your yield, for example, right? You cannot control price, you cannot control like farm accident or other things that happen. That's what happened, right? And another things, another group of factors that you not sure. Okay, so you can ask what it could be. But for example, um, you might, let's say, have some situation or conflict with your spouse about different priorities. Okay, you have maybe have deal or issues with some particular software that you cannot figure out. This is a stress, but you can handle that. It's just time, right? So but you're still not sure, but it is not something that you really cannot control. And it is also things not like things like you really can control at this point. So think about these different things. And right now I invite you to close your eyes and just try to very deep breathe three times. Like, let's do it all together. Breathe in and breathe out, and please close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out, and continue breathing. And just think about, I'm gonna guide you, and please think about what I'm saying. Please choose a box. It could be oak box, it could be metal safe, it could be a large vase or dark gray metal box, whatever. But important here, be very specific about size, about shape, about color, texture, and imagine labeling your box with, particularly with description of things that you cannot control. It could be yield loss due to weather condition, it could be low agricultural commodity prices, or anything else. Imagine putting all your worries and fears about the uncontrollable outcomes of your stress in that box. And visualize yourself packing them in, and see your worries as a stream of smoke or sand or maybe light or water that flows into the box or container. Give them the particular form that feels right to you. Once all your worries are in the box or container, imagine sealing it. You could use a lid or lock or chain or plastic wrap or anything else. It is up to you how to seal your box or container. When your container is sealed tight, imagine storing it somewhere. You can put it in the caves or underground, or store it in the attic, or you can send it onto a boat. So you can do whatever you want to do with this. When your box or container is sealed, and put away. Imagine yourself walking away from it and back into your life. And think about that you're going to focus on your efforts and energy on the parts of your stressor that you can control. So again, let's do breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And you can open your eyes right now. Thank you so much for participating in this exercise. I think it is an extremely important tool to utilize when you're experiencing high level of stress. You basically can save yourself, from not having stroke or heart attack. So yeah, it's good things. So one way to build that, like I called resilience plan, it is extremely important to be proactively engage in different type of activities, okay, that help you to create that positive emotions. Because that using that positive mood became as a fuel that help you to think differently about particular stressors in your life. And I always encourage to pick one, two, three activities and just start to schedule that in your, in your schedule. I have that in the regular basis. And if you have the type of activities for several minutes a day, it's a help you to manage your stress days. Sometimes, when I talk to people and we have a great conversation during that type of workshop related to stress, and people sharing very interesting facts that they participate, let's say in like walking exercise with group, like every Saturdays. Some people get together and do it like 30 minutes walk in their subdivisions. Someone love to take photography class, so anything else, it really can work for you. I think it is important to put that in your scheduler. So why it is so important? Because all that creative solutions, related to them, how to handle stress, can basically automatically come to your mind. So again, how to what you really can consider at this point, and you see on your screen, like create some interest, like I said, it could be absolutely different things. So using other words, you basically try to explore your different opportunities, trying new things that usually help you to get more information and basically expand your horizon. So like when I said create a joy, you can think about some different creative activities that can kind of pushing the limits, of your mind, and find that creative solutions. So create relaxation, that you can spend great time with people you love, and find that help you have that entertainment in your life, and find that nice and new perspective possibly. So try to be engaged in different challenging activities that also to foster that confidence and stay focused and have that positive feeling about yourself. So another thing that I would consider in this case, when we talk about creating that resilience plan in your life, think about your positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. And it has been a long time ago, I read some book and I took a screenshot, and I decided to use it and put it in the screen, and I wanted to share that with you. So this is just basically simple, using that assessing the odds exercise. It's called replacing it is likely question with is it possible, also would be really helpful. Okay, when let's think about we basically don't think about, we use it to focusing only on the issues that we experiencing that particular time, right? But when you look at like these big numbers, for example, and that's what you see in your screen, like not dying in the, let's say, dying of cancer, 85% of people, right? Not dying by stroke, 96.55, not dying from the heart disease, 83.33% of people. So when you look at like big picture, you basically switching the way how you think and perceive that particular event and situation in your life. So this is another things how you can to consider to kind of implement in your life and use it when you're experiencing very stressful situation or you have some particular worries. So another thing that really I would consider as a resilience plan in your life, practicing mindfulness. And I would like to tell you a little bit more here, that in 1994, Dr. John Kabat-Zinn defined mindfulness as a way of paying attention, okay, with intentionally paying attention, that not having that purpose or particular judgment, and accept basically that being in the present moment. So he created entire like center at the Western University of Massachusetts that conducted a lot of research related to mindfulness, and practicing mindfulness really help people overcome a lot of stressful situations in their life. So if simply saying, adopting the stand of mindfulness toward your own experience in the present moment, it's one of the steps to do this. And when basically you find some peaceful place in your home, on your workplace, and just basically examine your thoughts. And we can do that soon, okay, as a next practice. And just think about what you feel, what are your body sensations, okay, what you hear. And people doing these things, like practicing that mindfulness approach, they find being blessed, by this, because at this particular moment, you don't thinking about your past, you're not analyzing your past actions, your mind is not racing, okay, and you don't think about future. Because when we, like, I read a lot of literature related to psychology, that human being, basically, we always think about past or future, right? We very rarely find ourselves being in some particular present moment right now and paying attention what's happening. And especially when you experiencing stress, and basically replacing that fear, right, about future, most time about how it's going to be happening, and how you see yourself in the future, bringing person that increasing that high level. So basically replacing that fear with a curious or gentle, welcoming attitude, and free of judgment or self-blame or aversion, basically help you to switch your focus of that stressful event to the present moment. So at this point, I would like to introduce you to the one of the really interesting, it's called stop practice, okay, that I would really encourage you to basically implement in your life. Besides that, another technique and tool that we tried earlier, okay, this one could be like to now basically have only 1 minute to do that. And usually, even you're not experiencing very high stress level, it's still good to do this type of exercise in the early morning and start your day like that in more, mindful manner, I would say. So, but any type of exercise that what we are doing today, it's nicely start from, closing your eyes and start to breathing. You can ask why breathing, right? Because I have that similar question too, because when we are breathing, we bringing our attention to that particular actions of breathing, right? And because we cannot think about how our heart working, or like, let's say, or our kidney or something else. So one of the things that we really can catch and focus at this moment and our actions of breathing, I think that's why we need to bring our attention to the breathing and try do it several times when bringing our attention, helping to bring our attention to the present moment. So I would encourage all of you right now to let's do it all together. And you can utilize a tool in your future when you need it, or maybe that's how you would like to make a decision to start your day in the future. So again, let's close your eyes and let's do breathe in, deep breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Focus on the present moment. Breathe in and breathe out. And follow my direction, please. Stop whatever you are doing and bring your mind back to the present moment. Continue breathing and stop all your fight, flight, or freeze response. Try to feel or notice or what you are feeling right now. What you're thinking right now. What are you doing right now? Pay attention what is going on with your body. Observe if you have any emotions. It could be peaceful emotions. It could be some angry emotions. It could be some scary emotions. Just be an observer of yourself. Try to stay in the present moment with all these feelings without any judgments and breathe into them. Specifically, imagine sending your breath into the areas that feel tight in your body. It could be chest area or heart area, it could be whatever, your stomach area, where you feel more constricted. And just observe your feelings. Stay in the present moment. When you are feeling sufficiently present and aware, so you can open your eyes and go about your business in a more deliberate way. So you can go back again what you guys did. Okay, so this is a good tool to start your day, and also to use this type of tool when you really stress. Okay, because like tool that I shared with you earlier, it was a little bit like, takes a little bit more time, more concentration, and really working with your visualization, just kind of arrange everything in your mind that way to help yourself to get out of that really stressful situation. So also people ask me, is anything like you can use it just really quickly, right? And that help you to stop that really high a level of worries. Let's say you, like we said in the beginning, where you wake up in the morning on your farm, right? You just look at the temperature and you realize, so your orchard, you can lose all your orchard because of the frost, of the bad weather conditions. And what to do in this situation, that some farmer told me that I was driving and I was stopped my truck in the person had basically a heart attack, because like a lot of things, he lost a lot of yield on that year, right? We can say. So in this case, very simple things like, basically just if you're in the car, if you're just experiencing extremely like high level stress, you can anywhere basically, but that was specifically example, just stay where you are. And again, just take your 3 at least more long deep breath, and let's do it together, okay? Rather than I'm saying this, breathe in. Again, close your eyes and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And think about just only one thing in your life. Find something very special in your life, one thing that you're really, really thankful for. And try to stay in the present moment and pay attention on your breathing and be really grateful and thankful for just one thing in your life. I think this exercise help you kind of save yourself, save your health. And after that, you can utilize all other tools that require a little bit more time. So all that things like practicing mindfulness, right? You definitely can get the benefits from that, because you are basically push that reset button, in that current situation, in your body, in your mind. And it's difficult to do from the beginning, but when you try to do it like implement that in your life over time, it's come very naturally to you. You start to more pay attention, you start to monitoring how you feel in your reaction, and you can understand what really pushes your buttons, right, in that particular situations. And kind of practicing that mindfulness or mindful tools on exercise, like what we did, at least the 3 of them I introduced you with today, and help you to um, change your focus, increase your focus for present moment, and reduce that mistakes or errors, right, that might happen, especially when you work on the farm, and reduce that farm, let's say, accident or any safety related issues. I think when we talk about managing stress, another things would be interesting to take into consideration. So I know that things like be really good to multitasking, people love it, but at the same time, I would like to bring your attention to when you stay focused in one thing at a time. I think that also reduces stress. Okay, when you concentrate, let's say you just working on one particular assignment or work in one particular time frame, and you're not skipping the steps, or stages, and jumping between different projects, take your time, you can be more productive, and you can be more efficient, and you can reduce the stress level when we talk about the work. Actually, that might apply. Are we talking about farm rat situation when we have like so many things to do, especially when we have like many work hours a day, when we're talking about specific seasons, right, for any different agricultural commodities or farmers who do different things could be different. If he is a grain farmer or livestock farmer, so it could be different. Season could be different, but in any way, just focusing on one thing, planning is extremely important here. And another thing, what I would like to emphasize, one of a good suggestion, it's could be set up a worry-free zone. Okay, you kind of designate a daily worry period in your scheduler. It could be just 10-15 minutes in your day, and usually I would recommend do it sometime between 5:30 p.m. And you can ask why, because when you set up the time think in the early morning, just believe me, your mind will not be there. It's more bring you anxious, and you become more irritable, and you always still rush to do things. So I would encourage you also not doing before bed night, because it also can affect negatively your anxious level and you continue start think about. But do it somewhere like later afternoon. Try find a place in your living room or maybe in your car. I don't know, it could be any place that you feel comfortable, and just just say yourself, this is only time I allow myself to think about my problem. And time is 20-15 minutes, and that's it. You go back and do and refocus and do things what you need to do. Okay. And that's a self-talk. It is also could be helpful in this situation. And also when you take some breaks, talk to people, talk to your neighbors, also could be helpful. Plan things ahead. And another things, if I'm saying have here only bullet points, but train your employees in your farm. It is extremely important. The more time you put to the training, then you increase their efficiency level, right? And the performance level. So that bring you less stress as it could be. And I cannot really not say about rest and hours of sleep, talking about stress today. So I still have it here on my list. So at this point, my presentation is finished, and I would like to tell you that I have my extension products related to leadership, and you can find a lot of them following that Penn State Extension website, just putting my name there. And also I have volunteer management and leadership tip email. You can reach out and send me email directly. I can subscribe you, or just go and follow and subscribe yourself. So also, this is questions that you can basically go through when you will have time after this presentation, reflect on this question that we discussed today. Like I said, half of the presentation was focusing on the foundation of stress and factors and symptoms and things, but bigger part of my presentation, I still wanted to talk through all these tools and share with you all these tools that you can utilize in one of the stressful time in your life and work that help you to stay more healthy and energetic. This is resources helped me to put together this presentation, and I would like to tell you thank you. Here's my email. Please never hesitate to reach out. And at this point, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.